Good afternoon and welcome to Ajax Down on this beautiful July the 5th, Wednesday, of course. I'm Nick Kukas, Jennifer Morrison, of course, my co-host here with you today. 6 races on tap, Jen, with, of course, the feature race, the 12th running of the Ontario Derby. Great card on tap.
Great card. We had a pretty awesome card last week, too. We missed you. We had 2 stakes events and a great betting day. And today, of course, as you said, the Ontario Derby, which has a field of 10. There's no scratches today, no jockey changes. It's going to be a very nice day of racing. I'm expecting lots of people to be enjoying the hot weather today.
Yeah, we've got a really hot day. We've got this Wednesday, of course, next Wednesday. And then we're here July the 16th for that craft beer day. I can't wait.
Yes, craft brewery day. That's one of my favorites.
Beer and betting horses. Does it get any better than that?
It doesn't get any better than that.
There we go.
What were you doing? What were you doing last week? I know where you were.
I was in Las Vegas. I was betting and I was playing in the World Series.
And
didn't do that well. I mean, unfortunately,
no.
But whatever. I mean, I had fun and it was hot down there. It was 108 degrees when I left, but not as humid as it is here. There's no humidity. It's a dry heat, AC.
Yes, yeah. I dream of that.
But I'm back.
He's back, baby.
I'm back, and I'm going to try to give you some winners today. We're going to start off with race number 1. Race number 1 is a maiden event. These are Ontario-bred maidens, 250 yards of distance in here, and we both chose, actually, the one, Miss Chloe Suspect, and the 5-horse, a Russian Lily.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is one of these races where I change my mind a couple of times. Miss Chloe Suspect is from the Carol McIntyre barn, and they've been on a real roll this spring and early summer with these maiden horses. They've had horses that have been sitting on wins since last year. So all of these horses are winning, and this horse is one of those that, probably with a little bit of luck would have won by now. The only thing that I was worried about with Miss Chloe Suspect here was that, she's cutting back in distance from 300 yards. Her last race, she closed like a house on fire. Like, she really finished strongly. And remember, none of those races that she's been in this year were maiden races.
Right.
Now, she was running against some maidens, but anyways, her last was such a great effort. She was the favorite. She finished fast. She's going to have to get going, though, because a Russian Lily, who is the first horse ever for this 5 fillies racing syndicate, the gates open. This little gal with the big white face, she was gone. Mm-hmm. I mean, she just scampered away, and she got caught late, and she shortens up. So you got the one that's going to be coming at her, and you got the Russian Lily filly. Russian Lily filly? It's going to be
Lily filly. That's a mouthful.
We'll be on the lead. But what do you think about Admiral Nelson? Because he was taking all the early money when I first looked.
Yeah, he's my third choice in here. This is a horse coming off a 110, which is really unusual for maidens. They usually don't run in 110s, but it was a maiden 110. So it's really hard to gauge. Diego Benitez, flying in from Alberta this morning, is back to ride him for James Bogart, who's having a tremendous year this year.
Man, I mean, he's got a lot of horses, and they're running well. And Admiral Nelson, well bet last time. 4th in every single race the horses run so far.
Unbelievable. I mean, if you're betting a superfecta, you key him in the 4 spot.
There you go.
That's it.
Okay.
That's the key. Let's move on. Race number 2 is the Speed Index event. The distance, 300 yards. These are 3-year-olds and up with an average of 80 and under. And we're on different pages in here, and that's probably because this is a tough race. I know you landed on the 6-horse Just a Deal, Ramiro Sanchez Castillo riding for Bob Broadstock.
Yeah, this is a really cool mare, 7 years old now. She's making her first start of the season. She's a horse that has won at all kinds of different distances. She actually won our experimental race at 770 yards back in 2021. She won first time out last year going 300. She won second time out going 330. She races against better horses for the most part. She's getting a chance to drop a bit in class here for this Speed Index event. She runs well fresh. That's why I like her. And so I think she's my pick, and I'd probably key her in my pick 5.
Yeah, I went against her just on the sole reason that it's her first time out, and I think she wants a little bit more ground. but she has one going 300 yards, but she's only 1 for 5. I think if it was 330 or 350, I'd probably like her a lot more. I just think she needs a little bit more ground. I landed on a horse that I think could be a price in here, and that's the 8-horse Speedy Country Mouse. Cassandra Jeske and Peggy Byrne are teaming up. I thought this horse ran a big race last time.
Oh, she did, and she's all guts, this filly. She loves what she does, and she's moving up in class a bit. Like, she's meeting tougher horses, but I like the way she ran. And you know, Miss Chloe Suspect was third in that race that she was in last time. You could use that as a frame of reference. Does Miss Chloe Suspect win the first race today easily? Then that makes Speedy Country Mouse look a lot better. But I think there's some other horses here. What do you do with the 10-year-old?
Well, I was just going to look.
I'm Speedy.
I know. 10 years old, he's made 128,000. Look at his record. 10 wins, 10 thirds, 5 seconds, 25 out of 65 in the money, coming off 2 110s.
Yeah.
Now gets to stretch his leg to 300 yards. I'm not sure, but I know you like this horse a little bit more than I do.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would use him in the superfecta and the trifecta. I also was kind of interested a bit in a fancy arrangement.
Right.
She won an allowance race last year to complete her season. You don't see her run very much. The Joe Taveras barn usually is a little bit slow to get going. Their horses have been running well, so they're going to be, getting on a roll soon. I just don't know if she's ready to win this race. But, yeah, it's for the first leg of the pick 5. You got to spread them, or you just take 1 or 2. Like I might just key just a deal, but I could see if you wanted to use a lot.
Okay, let's move on to race number 3, the start of today's pick 4, 110 yards in distance. These are 3-year-olds and up with an average of 70 and under. Speaking of tough races, in my pick 4 today, I went all in the first 2 races. I know that sounds like really expensive, but it's only a $6 ticket. But I got 2 all, so I know one thing, I'm going to be alive until leg number 3. This race here I thought was really tough, especially going 110. I ended up on the 4-horse Kefla. You ended up on the 5, making an effort. I like it the same way. One thing that's kind of interesting in this race, the 5-horse making an effort, is off Lasix. Usually you see them on Lasix, but we got the LX today as opposed to just the L.
Okay, I
don't even know if that really matters going 110 yards anyways.
I don't know either, but you know what? I know trainers and thoroughbreds have had a lot of success with that move, and this is a talented horse. I picked him because I just thought he's a talented horse. He hasn't shown much yet this year, but, he was third to Aquatica last time in Crash on Oki. Right. If either of those 2 horses were in this race,
they'd win.
Yeah, well, they'd win or they'd be 1 to 5 or whatever.
Right.
But this race is ridiculously impossible.
Sure.
No horse has ever tried 110 yards. We have a couple of maidens. We have a 5-time winner. I mean, we have Corinne Andros, who we haven't seen here in years. She's riding the 2-horse Bewitchin', so welcome back, Corinne. But yeah, Kefla is a logical contender, and she's a maiden, for heaven's sakes. But, she's a logical contender, but 110 yards, I think you're doing right by playing an all in the pick 4. I must say the rider of Kefla, Alexis Sanchez, won his first career race as a jockey on Monday at Fort Erie, and we saw him getting dunked with water. So congratulations, Alexis. Now he just has to win here, then he can win at Woodbine, and he's on his way.
Congratulations, and hopefully we can repeat today.
Yes.
Let's move on to race number 4, an allowance event. These are 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 2 races, 250 yards of distance in here. I took another all button in here. I know you landed on the 1, Katie on Fire. I landed on the 5-horse Summer's Grace.
I like both of those horses, Nick. Katie on Fire, I was very impressed with. Dropped out of the Open Derby against horses like Snow Moose and Sour Candy, who are going to be the favorites today in the Ontario Derby. She did have a great start that day anyways, but she really powered to a nice win last time, going just 110 yards. The 3rd place finisher, Chico Mallow, came back to win. So Katie on Fire, I think, a nice spot for a non-winners at 2 lifetime. So I like her a lot, but I like Summer's Grace, the Chantal Bourgeois barn.
Right.
My goodness. What are they, 10
for 11.
10 for 11 in the money this year. They're money in the bank. And this gal, her first start of the season, she was 3rd beating a neck. The 2 horses that were in front of her that day, Quick as a Hiccup and Ruby Jess, both came right back to win. This gal had an above average workout time on June 21st. Very dangerous. Yeah, I like the 1 and 5 the best.
Yeah, the one horse, I didn't pick this horse, but now that I've looked at it over and over again, the 3 horse might be a bit of a surprise. I think this filly, she needed her race back on June 28th. I think she's going to be better today. And if you look at the chart line, you don't see that too often. Fought gamely. That's a very impressive comment made by our charter here. And fought gamely could mean that this filly might be ready to run a good race today.
Well, she's very well bred. She missed a whole year. Rick Kennedy has brought her here. She began her career in Oklahoma. The stallion was very highly regarded, but he passed away at an early age. But yeah, this horse could be any kind. I mean, look, she ran in 82 when she won her maiden. So
at Remington, that's right.
That's right. So a bit of a question mark there. There's only one boy horse in that race. You know that? Up and over. So he's outnumbered there. Poor guy.
I know. Up and over, and he's 1 for 21.
Wow.
I know. Let's move on. Race number 5 is a speed index race. These are 3-year-olds and up with an average of 90 and under, 250 yards. And, of course, the big horse is in Maryland Magic, the racehorse, the sire, the everything horse, $192,000. He's looking to reach that $200,000 plateau.
Can you imagine I didn't pick him?
I know you picked the 5 horse.
Well, I don't know. I just try to be silly and try to go for a bit of a price.
No, nothing wrong with that.
But the pick 4s and the pick 5, this race is just as tough, unless you think Maryland Magic is an absolute cinch. Now, he got beat a nose last time had to be relentless. He got placed first on the disqualification of the winner. Look at Maryland Magic is running very well. He's 9 years old. He's a stallion. We know he's running against his own. He's running against his own offspring, for heaven's sakes. Great horse. But, I'm going to use a couple other ones in here. And I think Jezebella was just absolutely phenomenal in her season debut, May 17th. This horse, she was beaten just over a length to Had to Be Ivory, who was the horse of the year last year and a couple of years before that. And second in the race was First Cold Wave, a horse of the year. Now, I'm not even worried about her last 2 races. They were 110 yards. One of them was pretty good, but I don't care. We got Ismail Mascara, who's like ready to win a race any minute now. He's winning at Fort Erie and all that. But, I think Jezebella is your price horse, your long shot play of the day. Do not leave that horse out of your pick 4s.
There you go. You heard it right here from Jennifer Morrison. Do not leave that one out. It's the price play, and I tell you one thing. I have no problem with handicappers picking price plays. I do have a problem with them picking 1 to 9 shots that say that their best bet. But a 15 to 1, I'm with you. I'm with you, Jen. Let's move on to race number 6, the feature race on today's Carter Racing. The 12th running of the Ontario Derby. $55,000 up for grabs. And I know, Jen, you got a couple of replays you want to watch, so why don't we dive right into the replays?
Yeah, let's just get familiar with the 2 trials that were run back on June 18th. So the fastest horses, the 10 fastest times from those 2 trials advanced to this final. Let's watch the first one. The first one was race 3 on June 18th, and it was won by Snow Moose, who is arguably the leading 3-year-old right now. He's the gray horse. Oof. What an awkward start that was. I'm also watching the 1 horse, Isa Dashawaki, who I also didn't think got away that well. He's very lightly raced and less unexperienced than Snow Moose, but I thought he ran pretty well here. Had to be Ivy closing late. Let's watch Snow Moose again here. Clunk.
Wow.
Broke outwards, smashed into a dream to build a kiss on, so neither of them benefited from that. But boy, oh boy, Snow Moose, he just wants to win this guy, He's a little bit, drifting out there. Going to be very tough to beat if he can overcome, a big bumping incident like that. A dream to build a kiss on, has not been lucky at all this year. Now, Had to Be Ivy on the far outside. She really finished well.
She did.
I like the way she finished. And this trial was marginally faster than the second trial. But Had to Be Ivy is one of 2 in the race for Bryn Robertson. His main rider, Josh Scott, is going to ride the other one, One Fabulous Wave. And look at this guy's race. Let's look at the other trial now and watch One Fabulous Wave in the other trial that was won by Sour Candy. That was that was just a terrible start. And it's a hard angle to see. He's not 20 lengths out of it, but he's pretty far out of it.
Right.
Now look at how fast this horse runs. And Josh Scott is just sitting there. He just needs him to qualify, right?
Right.
Look at this. Blunk. The ground sort of breaks out from underneath him. He falls outward and whatever. I mean, it's kind of a miracle that he actually got up in there. Sour Candy. Look at Sour Candy's only lost once in his life, so who knows? Between him and Snow Moose, they're going to be tough to beat. But I think One Fabulous Wave is a good horse. He's won a trial earlier this year. He just has to, A, get out of the gate better, and B, behave himself a little bit better. But we'll check on those horses as they go out to the track. So anyways, I landed on Snow Moose, but I like One Fabulous Wave. Sour Candy is tough to ignore. Who else do we pick?
Well, I can see why you like One Fabulous Wave. I like the 12-1. And this gelding did beat Snow Moose two starts back, so let's not forget that. The other horse I'm kind of leaning to is the 6-horse Sour Candy. Why not? The horse has run 5 times, won 4 to 5. Tony Phillips has really gotten along with this horse very well, coming out of the Michelle Woodley barn, and of course owned by that famous owner, Richard Winsakabi from New Liskeard, Ontario. And I can guarantee you one thing, it's not that hot up there.
Yeah, I know. Good grief. I'm already hot here. I don't know if there's going to be an upset winner. I could see using a couple of upset horses in the superfecta, but
sure.
I think it'd be pretty hard to go past Sour Candy and Snow Moose, the trial winners, and then after that, I quite like the 2. Maybe you throw in Had to Be Ivy, the filly. I don't know.
Well, let me throw in the unknown in here, and
okay.
That's the 4 Isa Dashiwaki, because this horse is bred to be a really, really nice horse, and I know the horse finished 3rd last time to Snow Moose and to Had to Be Ivory, but it had the inside that day, and we have to say the inside wasn't all that great here for quite a while. Now gets to move to the middle of the track. This horse has got speed, and if this horse breaks, they have to run this horse down.
I agree. I like the fact that he's off the inside, and just, when we were watching Snow Moose win there after the bumping, this horse is still learning the game. Yes. I mean, he was spectacular winning his season debut, but he's still got some learning to do. And we've talked to Bob about him. The horse is just, figuring it all out. The mother was such a tremendous racehorse. So, yeah, if he puts it all together today, he might be really tough to catch. So definitely a horse that you should include in your wagers.
And Bob keeps on reminding me all morning today, Nick, you weren't here last week and I won. So I'm hoping with you here, I can still overcome you and win today. So, yeah, Bob's been running really, really well, I think, this year. I think he's having a good year. 5 for 29
well, he's
in the
heating
win.
up. And
he is heating
like the
up.
weather, he's heating up.
Yeah. Anyways, that's our card for Wednesday, July the 5th. We're going to take it upstairs to the voice of Canadian quarter horse racing, Frank Ferrari, for the lack of changes on today's card of racing. I don't think there's any, but Frank, we're going to send it up to you anyways. Have a great day. Enjoy your day here at Ajax Downs.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to Ajax Downs for this afternoon's live card of racing. We have 6 races on tap with the on-track feature going in the 6th and final race of the afternoon. That's the 12th running of the Ontario Bred Derby for 3-year-olds with $55,000 added, making it a total purse of $56,340. Approximate post time for race number 6 is at 3:45 p.m. If you can all turn to your programs to race number 1, I will now give you the changes and or corrections on today's live card of racing. In the first race, we have the following overweights. Number 1, Miss Chloe Suspect, 1 pound over. Number 2, Admiral Nelson, 3 pounds over. And number 3, Bar EF Rush for Candy, 2 pounds over. Also note that we will have rolling daily doubles and rolling pick threes through our entire race card. In the first race, racing with the flipping halter on, is the number 4 horse, I Wanna Rock. Now to your programs to race number 2, the following overweights. Number 2, I'm Speedy, and number 4, High Velocity, both 2 pounds over. Number 5, A Fancy Arrangement, 6 pounds over. And number 7, Magic Dynasty, 4 pounds over. Race 2 is race A of this afternoon's Pick 5. The third race is a race going a distance of 110 yards. In that third race, we have the following overweights, just the one. Number 1, Wild Kate's Dynasty, will be 4 pounds over. Racing with the flipping halter on, also number 1, Wild Kate's Dynasty, and number 2, Bewitchin'. Also note, medication off on number 5, Making an Effort. Making an Effort is off Lasix in this upcoming third race. Race 3 is Race A of the only pick 4 this afternoon. In the fourth race, the following overweights. Number 2, Pink Leona, 2 pounds over. Number 4, Up and Over, 6 pounds over. And number 6, Queen Charlotte, 1 pound over. Race 4 is Race A of the final pick 3. In that fourth race, racing with the flipping halter on, horses number 1, Katie on Fire, number 3, Just a KVN, and number 5, Summer's Grace. In the fifth race, the following overweights. Number 1, SW Snow Magically Cool, 4 pounds over. Number 2, I Think Icon, 6 pounds over. Number 3, Pretty Runaway, 3 pounds over. Number 4, Maryland Magic, 1 pound over. And number 5, Jezebella, 2 pounds over. Horses racing with the flipping halter on. Number 1, SW Snow Magically Cool. Number 3, Pretty Runaway. And number 6, Fly Bell Cartel. Race 5 is the first half of the late daily double. That brings us to the sixth and feature race of the afternoon, the 12th running of the Ontario Bred Derby, running for a purse of $56,340. In that sixth and final race, the following overweights. Number 1, A Shades of Cold, 3 pounds over. Number 7, Snow Moose, 1 pound over. Number 8, Silver Lining, 6 pounds over. Number 9, Had to Be Ivy, 2 pounds over. And number 10, Daz Cold, 4 pounds over. The following horses running with the flipping halter on are number 1, A Shades of Cold, number 2, One Fabulous Wave, number 4, Isa Dashawaki, and number 10, Daz Cold. Those are your changes thus far in your program. Any further changes or corrections will be given to you before each race. Track conditions are listed as fast. It's 29 degrees Celsius, 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and we have the wind coming from the south at 14 kilometers an hour, which is 8 miles per hour. Post time for race 1 is at 1:30 in 16 minutes.